certain strain. I'm ashamed we cannot change. No one knows what is coming next. One thing's for sure, we're out of
Hey, what's up, guys? So, what do we know about what's going on in the Idaho 4 case? We know the timeline is all jacked up. We know the DoorDash is a possible plant. You know, the Jack in the Box is a possible plant. We know that everything hinges around the 4 a.m. to 4:25 a.m. timeline, which I think is a bogus timeline because from 2:54 a.m. to 3:15 a.m. you had major activity around the home. You had the cops stop those guys on Banfield for an alcohol violation. You have what looks like 4 or 5 people running away from the murder scene about 3:15 because it was caught on the body cam of the undercover cop. You have Mr. Koberger's car being spotted at 3:29 a.m. supposedly. This whole case is just jacked up. Personally, I think the murders took place between 2 a.m. and 2:45 a.m. because at 2:40 a.m. you could hear on the Linda Lane footage you could hear somebody whistle for a dog. At 2:03 you heard what the sounds of a dog barking. At 2:42 a.m. you could hear someone screaming and crying for help. But none of that matters. The only thing that matters is suspect vehicle 1. That's all they got. Suspect vehicle 1. And looking at that screenshot that the board clerk at the mobile gas station took, that picture looks photoshopped. It doesn't even look like a Hyundai Elantra. It looks like either a Prius or a Ford Fusion. Now, for like the last 2 days, I've been on that kick of putting a Ford Fusion next to a 2017 Ford Fusion next to a 2015 Hyundai Elantra, and they damn near identically match side by side. So what's really going on in this case? Money laundering, human trafficking, drugs. That's quite a possibility. All 3 things are going on in that town. And Ann Taylor, she put her motion in to change venues because she said, and I quote, "The jury pool here in Latah County and Moscow is contaminated. Everybody knows everybody. The media has corrupted the prejudicial element. That's why she wants the trial moved out of Moscow, because she thinks that the jury pool is contaminated there in Moscow and Latah County." I totally 100% I agree with her. The jury pool there in Moscow is contaminated. And Bill Thompson knows it's contaminated. That's why he don't want the trial to move out of Moscow. Because he thinks if he can get a Moscow jury, that'll be an easy conviction on his part, and poor Brian will either go to the lethal injection chamber or the firing squad. Yeah. And this whole thing with the IGG. Brian had Ann Taylor put in motion not only to have the DNA experts look at the IGG, but he wants the entire defense team, as well as the defense team investigators, to look at the IGG. And Bill Thompson sealed the IGG and put a protective order on it. Why is he sealing everything up? What is the prosecution in this case trying to hide? It just pisses me off. You have never seen anything like this happen in any other case across the country. No other prosecutor across the country has ever sealed everything. They may have sealed maybe one or two things or three things, but not everything. Corruption at its finest. And don't even get me started on the PCA. Even Ann Taylor said the PCA is full of holes and convoluted items. She called it half-truths in the PCA. Half-truths, hearsay, and it's full of holes. And Dylan, the eyewitness in the PCA, may not even be testifying in the trial. Just like Bethany. Bethany says she wants nothing to do with the trial. She wants nothing to do with the prosecution. She wants nothing to do with the defense. She does not want to come back to Idaho. Why? Possibly obstruction of justice charges for not calling 911 until noon. Even the MPD found that kind of fishy, that neither surviving roommate called 911 until noon. And the night of the murders, Dylan was unaccounted for. Her timeline was unaccounted for. Now Bethany, she was accounted for. She was over at a party with Xana and Ethan. Maddie, Kaylee, they were accounted for. They were at the corner club, and then they went to the grub truck. But Dylan was unaccounted for. Her whereabouts were unknown the whole evening, until 1 a.m. when she came back home with Bethany's. So where the fuck was she? Honestly, where the fuck was she? And then talking about Batman, who could be Clyde. I think Batman, wasn't he like the rideshare driver? And you had Bonnie, who was picking up the DoorDash from the Jack in the Box in Pullman. Well, here's the funny thing about Jack in the Box. They stopped doing online orders and DoorDash orders at 2 a.m. So how could how could Xana order the DoorDash at 4 a.m. when Jack in the Box stopped doing the DoorDash and online orders at 2 a.m.? And the crew members up there at Jack in the Box verbatim said that they saw a person of Emma Bailey's description come through the drive-thru, order the food, and then deliver it. Was she possibly setting up the 4 a.m. Time frame? Nobody knows, because nobody's talking. Why is nobody talking? Their hands are dirty with the murders of the students. Everybody in that fucking town is complicit with the murders. They're complicit with it. And I hate to say that, but it's true. The Judge John Judge is an alumni of the U of I. His wife is a professor at the U of I. Bill Thompson is an alumni of the U of I. Ann Taylor, a alumni of the U of I. The coroner, Kathy, I'm not even going to pronounce her damn last name because I can't, is an alumni of the U of I, and she's also a professor of law at the U of I. And Scott Green, don't even get me started on Scott Green. How are you going to build your house that's in direct line of sight to 1122 King Road? But yet, you admit your dad owned that home at 1122 King Road back in the 60s. And his dad sold it in the early 70s. And there's a lot of speculation that Scott Green grew up in the 1122 King Road house as a child. But according to Scott Green, he has no recollections of ever being in the house as a child. So who do we believe here? Do we believe Scott Green? Or do we believe the speculation? And then you got Sigma Chi. Don't even get me started on Sigma Chi. Their hands are dirty too. Because those people that was either running or walking really fast away from the house at 3:15 in the morning on November 13th, 2022, they were walking or running really fast towards Sigma Chi. So what's going on with that, guys? I still go back to the 2 a.m. The 2 a.m. to 3:15 a.m. Time frame. I think that was the time frame of the murder. But like I said before, according to Brett Payne, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is Dylan and Bethany's download data off of their phones. That's the only timeline that matters. And the only thing that matters, according to Brett Payne, is the statement of Dylan. Two witnesses that are unreliable. They are unreliable and uncredible witnesses. How are you going to open your door 3 times that night and you're hearing crying and a male's voice going, "It's okay, I'm going to help you"? And Xana's dad said that the last thing she had to eat was pizza at midnight. And why did the coroner say the toxicology report is of non-importance in this case? Because there was calls for her to release the toxicology report after the autopsies. She refused to release the toxicology report because she said it was a non-issue. Seriously? A non-fucking issue? With the rumors of drugs being rampant in that damn town? Like, what the fuck? Like, really, what the fuck? I mean, honestly, guys, how can a toxicology report be a non-issue? Is it because they have their patsy already? Seriously, that's what I think it is. I think it's because they have their patsy. And that pisses me off. Just like Steve G said, Moscow Police Department are in over their heads with this case. Because apparently the last time they had a murder of this size was a decade ago, was 10 years ago. And they were in over their heads then. It's just complete and utter stupidity. You know, I hope Ann Taylor does get the change of venue granted. She wants a hearing on the change of venue by the end of April. She said so in her motion. She wants a hearing for the change of venue by the end of April of 2024. But where would he be moved to? This case is global. It's global. Everybody knows about it. Now, according to Bill Thompson, the only county that hasn't heard about it is Lewiston County in Idaho. And I just played a video last night of somebody chasing a cop with a large knife after just stabbing his father, and the cop ended up having to shoot said person, but the guy survived. So, where would this? I want to know in the comment section and in the live chat, where would this trial be moved to if there was a change of venue? Since everybody and their mother and their brother and their sister and their aunts and uncles know about this case. This case is a monumental case. Seriously. The last time a case was this big, oh God, was Ted Bundy and a local serial killer where I live at, Dennis Rader, BTK. Don't forget the Unabomber, who I found out thankfully died 2 months ago. But this is not a once in a lifetime case. There have been big cases in the past, but at the same time, there haven't been prosecutors who's quickly sealing up everything. I did some research last night, and Bill Thompson has a history of sealing up his court cases, of sealing up his orders, like his motions and his search warrants. He's had a history of that apparently for like the last decade. If he from what I heard, if he feels like he cannot get a conviction, he starts sealing up everything. Could that be the case here? Does he have a feeling he might not be able to get a conviction on Brian? It just makes you wonder. I don't think he can get a conviction on Bryant. And if he does, it would be a very huge miracle. Just this whole thing reeks of cover-up and corruption. And poor Brian is sitting in the midst of hungry sharks. And he knows it too. That's why he's wanting this trial to be transparent. But nobody on the prosecution side is wanting a transparent trial. The prosecution wants everything sealed, everything sealed, everything sealed. To where Brian's own defense team has to file motions just to get a look at the IGG. And even going about getting the IGG, they didn't do it on normal terms. Where you do normal testing and checking against CODIS. They used 23andMe, a civilian genealogy site. Hell, I wouldn't be too surprised if they used freaking Ancestry.com as well. But yeah, in the court hearing on the 26th, Ann Taylor said that she has not prepared yet to take this to trial in summer 2024. She's pushing for either spring 2025 or summer 2025. She still has to go through 51 terabytes of data. Do you know how many hours that is of data 51 terabytes is? That's a lot, guys. That's a whole hell of a lot. Like, my God. And then we get back to the guy that got stopped on Banfield, Saeed. He had bushy eyebrows. Did you guys see how bushy his eyebrows were? His eyebrows are bushier than freaking Brian's. And then when he made the comment that his apartment was like literally around the corner from the Banfield, he wasn't lying. He owns a bungalow apartment complex, which is quite, yeah, he owns his own apartment complex. He wasn't lying when he said his apartment was like right around the corner. And see, what I thought was weird, when those cops had those three freshmen standing there in the row, one minute there was an African American freshman standing there next to the other two, and then when the cop turned around, the African American freshman was gone. Like, where the fuck did he go? Did he like just run off as soon as the cop turned his back? Nobody knows. And why does it look like on Saeed's phone, when he's looking through his phone to try to find his ID, there looks to be a picture of Kaylee in his phone, slumped over. And he quickly got out of that picture. There was three pictures. It looked like Maddie, Kaylee, and Xana. But he quickly freaking swiped past that when the cops started looking his direction. So what was up with that? And then you have Christy Gonzalez and Steve, who does another interview stating that Kaylee was found slumped over in the corner, and Maddie was slumped over as well. So what's with the coroner telling everybody, oh, they were all sleeping, and when we found them, they were all just laying in the bed. That is a direct bald-faced lie. They were not found in the bed. They were found slumped over, and Ethan was found halfway in and halfway out of Xana's room with his throat cut. And then Xana was found on the floor at the foot of the bed. So why is he telling us all these incorrect statements and expecting everyone to believe it? And why is Christy and Steve the only ones speaking out about this? They're the only ones who've been going on TV on a regular basis, along with their attorney, Shannon Gray. You don't see Jeff Kernodle doing that. He did it once. Him and Xana's sister Jasmine. You don't see the Mogans doing that. You don't see the Chapins doing that. The only ones you see doing that is Steve and Christy. So what's up with that? And there's a source that the people that lived in 112 King Road, 1112 King Road, gave that camera, the light bulb camera, they gave it to the Gonzalez's. Actually, Olivia Gonzalez. That's how supposedly she came up with the girls getting home at 1:56. And the person that leaked the still of that truck at 2:15 was Steve. I'm going to keep covering this damn case until it drives me fucking off the wall, or I should say up the wall and fucking bonkers. Yeah, and Ann Taylor filed another motion to have the indictment thrown out, and of course Judge says, no, I ain't gonna do that. I've heard a lot of rumblings in the community that they feel that the DNA was planted. And I'm starting to believe that that stop in Indiana was a controlled stop so they could get his DNA off of his license when he handed it to the cop. His touch DNA. And I think the freaking FBI was the one that had that those two Indiana state troopers do it. That's what I think, anyway, in my own opinion. Well, you guys have a good day. I've got to go to my daughter's IEP meeting, and I'll try to upload another video later. You all have a good day and peace. Oh, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on my channel, and hit that bell notification for any new uploads.
Thank you for tuning in to the True Crime Cult. Keep it witchy, guys. Ha 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 ha.